On a summer morning in 2007, a new ticker blinks to life, BX, and a quiet firm steps into the storm, daring to bet big on the brink of a crisis. June 22, 2007, floor of the New York Stock Exchange. Traders crane toward the monitors as BX flashes green, priced at $31 a unit, the largest US IPO in years. Bells, applause, and a question hanging in the air. Can an alternative investing shop thrive in the full glare of the public markets? This is the hinge between obscurity and global scrutiny, and the storm clouds of a credit crunch are forming just beyond the windows. Blackstone's public debut is both victory lap and dare. To understand that dare, rewind to 1985. Two veterans of Lehman Brothers, Stephen A. Schwarzman and Peter G. Peterson, decide to build a different kind of firm. They start small, an advisory boutique with outsized ambition and a name that quietly encodes their identities, Schwarz for black, Petros for stone. Within 2 years, they raise a first private equity fund, betting on discipline, data, and the idea that time, not quarters, should be the canvas for value. The world calls it alternative. They call it focus. The culture hardens around preparation, relationships, and a willingness to sit very still until the moment looks right. By the mid-2000s, that patience meets opportunity in real estate at a scale few imagined. In February 2007, Blackstone acquires Sam Zell's Equity Office properties for roughly $39 billion, including debt, then rapidly sells off towers in a high-velocity breakup that becomes a masterclass in timing. The deal crowns Blackstone's real estate franchise and spotlights a rising lieutenant, Jonathan Gray. It also signals something larger, a firm unafraid to make the market move around it. Summer brings a second lightning strike. On July 3, 2007, Blackstone agrees to buy Hilton Hotels for about $26 billion, a hospitality empire at the peak of the cycle, days before the floor gives way. Through the crisis that follows, Hilton staggers, then slowly turns refi by refi, property by property, until it returns to the public market stronger than before. The story becomes law, a near disaster transformed into one of private equity's most studied turnarounds, proof that endurance can be a strategy. The lesson lodges inside Blackstone's playbook: buy well, manage hard, wait long. Then the shock hits. Liquidity vanishes, credit tightens, and the easy ways to make money go silent. In January 2008, Blackstone buys GSO Capital Partners for up to $930 million and builds a credit engine to sit beside private equity and real estate. In a world where financing is the battlefield, owning the arsenal matters. The firm emerges from the downturn more integrated and more certain about what it wants to be. Scale is no longer the goal, it's the tool. A decade later, the map changes again. In 2017, Blackstone launches BREIT, a non-listed real estate trust aimed at individual investors and perpetual capital, money that doesn't age on a timer. The move opens a vast new frontier outside traditional pension and endowment channels and helps translate institutional strategies into something households can access. It's a different kind of promise: steady income, diversified property, monthly appraisals, and a slow, patient compounding that mirrors the firm's earliest instincts. If the 1990s were about building franchises, the late 2010s are about building bridges. If this kind of deep dive is your thing, where we unpack the pivotal bets behind giant outcomes, tap like and subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. It helps a ton and lets us keep making stories like this for you. Public again, private at heart. In 2019, Blackstone changes its legal skin, converting from a partnership to a corporation to broaden its shareholder base. The shift invites a new cohort of index and retail investors and simplifies taxes for many holders, knitting the firm tighter to mainstream markets without loosening its long-horizon ethos. It's a bureaucratic sentence with strategic consequences, and it lands precisely because the firm treats structure as scaffolding, not ornament. The chassis evolves, the engine doesn't. Blackstone plus one. By July 2023, a number pops up that would have sounded like fiction in 1985, $1 trillion in assets under management, the first alternative asset manager to cross that line. The milestone isn't just a scoreboard moment, it reflects a portfolio stretching across private equity, real estate, credit, infrastructure, and insurance capital, bound by the same obsession with underwriting detail. Markets change, costs of money rise and fall, but the firm edge has always been a practiced discomfort. Go where complexity scares others away. The ticker is still just 5 characters. The machine behind it has become continental. Bloomberg +1. None of this is uncomplicated. In late 2022 and 2023, BREIT faces elevated redemption requests and temporarily limits withdrawals per its design, fuel for critics who worry private vehicles can feel less liquid than they look. Earlier decisions are tested in public, responses are measured in capital commitments, asset sales, and the slow normalization of flows. The episode underscores a truth that runs through Blackstone's narrative. Scale is a privilege, scrutiny is the rent. In the long run, discipline either pays or it doesn't, and only time reveals which. Financial Times. So return to that bell in 2007 and the screen blinking BX, to a firm stepping onto center stage as the storm rolled in. The years since have been a sequence of bets, some dazzling, some contested, anchored by a belief that patience plus preparation can turn chaos into compound interest. From a 2-man partnership to a trillion-dollar platform, Blackstone's history is less a straight line than a set of practiced pivots. The public glare did not melt the edge, it sharpened it. If you enjoyed this story, like and subscribe for more cinematic deep dives into how fortunes are actually built.